I never wanted to be the kind of man who kept track of the exact moment his marriage died, but I remember it anyway. It was a Thursday evening in early autumn, the kind of day where the sky turns copper and the air has that strange mix of warmth and wind. I just picked up my 6-year-old son Aiden from school, and he was excitedly telling me about how he'd been chosen as star helper of the day. I smiled, genuinely, because Aiden's smile had a way of pushing aside every problem in the world. When we got home, I found a note on the dining table. It wasn't a letter. Letters have warmth, handwriting, an apology, something human. This was a printed paragraph, cold as a receipt, short as a threat. I'm leaving for Barcelona. I need space. I need time. Don't call me. Tell Aiden I'll explain soon. Emily. At first, I thought it was a prank. Some twisted joke she'd laugh about when she walked out from behind the door. But the silence of the house pressed in on me like a warning. Her closet was half empty. Suitcases gone. Her perfume missing from the dresser. She'd left. And she hadn't just left me. She'd left her son. Aiden came running into the room with his backpack still on. Dad? Where's Mommy? I swallowed the weight in my throat. Mommy needed to take a trip for work. That was the first lie I ever told him about her. And God knows it wasn't the last. The first week was chaos. Aiden cried at night, woke up asking for her, and kept checking the driveway like she'd magically appear. I tried to comfort him. But how do you explain abandonment to a child who still sleeps hugging a stuffed dinosaur? On the 8th day, my phone buzzed at midnight. A screenshot from a coworker. A picture of my wife, smiling, glowing, standing in Barcelona next to a man I'd never seen. They were holding hands. His arm was around her waist. The caption? Found happiness in Spain, red heart. I stared at the picture until it blurred and the room spun. So this wasn't a work trip. This wasn't space. She'd run away with someone else. And she'd left me to pick up the pieces. I didn't reply to her message when she finally texted 3 days later. I'll talk to Aiden soon. Don't make this harder. Don't make this harder? I had packed lunches, handled homework, cleaned the house, comforted nightmares, worked overtime, and still pretended nothing was wrong. She was drinking sangria on Mediterranean balconies while I was explaining to a crying 6-year-old why Mommy wasn't home for bedtime. But I didn't fight back. Not then. Not yet. Because Aiden needed stability. And I wasn't sure I had enough of it to spare. 2 months passed before she video called Aiden. She didn't call me. She called his tablet. Aiden screamed when her face popped up on screen, smiling like everything was perfectly normal. Mommy. He held the tablet and talked nonstop, telling her everything she'd missed. She nodded, smiled, occasionally looked away like she was distracted. Like even her own son wasn't enough to keep her attention. Then he asked the question that shattered him. Mommy, why didn't you come home? Her smile faltered. Sweetheart, Mommy needed time to think. But you didn't tell me, he whispered. You left me. Something broke in her. I saw it in her eyes. Guilt flickered for the first time. But she recovered too fast. I'll visit soon, she said. It was a promise she didn't keep for another 4 months. During those months, I built a new routine. A tired, patched-together one, but a routine nonetheless. Morning cereal with Aiden. School drop-offs. Work. Laundry. Dishes. Cartoons before bedtime. His small arms wrapped around me at night when he had bad dreams. I was exhausted. Emotionally, physically, spiritually. But maybe this is what being a father is, anchoring a child even when you're drowning. One night, after Aiden fell asleep, I got a message from an unknown number. You should know the man she is with has been in 3 relationships this year. She's his latest escape. I thought you deserved to know. There was no name, no picture, just truth. I didn't reply. A few weeks later, Emily finally returned. No warning. No apology. Just a knock on the door at 3 p.m. Aiden ran to answer it, and the scream he let out nearly tore me apart. Mommy! She knelt down, letting him crash into her arms, hugging him like she hadn't missed years of his life compressed into months. I stood there, frozen, watching the woman who had shattered us act like she'd just come home from the grocery store. Her hair was different, shorter, styled. She was thinner, her skin tanned, but her eyes, those were the same. Soft, clever, unreadable. She finally looked at me. Hi, she whispered. Европlia. That was all we said, because what words could undo everything. She stayed for an hour. Aiden clung to her the entire time. He told her stories, showed her drawings, told her how much he missed her. She hugged him again and again, tears eventually falling down her cheeks. When it was time for her to leave, Aiden broke. "Mommy, don't go again." She froze at the door, caught between guilt and fear. I saw it all over her face. Going back would mean hurting him again. Staying would mean facing the consequences. She didn't answer him. She just left. Aiden cried until he fell asleep on my lap. And that night, something inside me hardened. I knew she couldn't keep dipping in and out of his life like this. I knew I had to fight. For custody. For stability. For my son's heart. For my own sanity. But I didn't know that when she returned the second time, 2 weeks later, everything would change forever. 2 weeks after her brief return, Emily came back again. But this time, she wasn't alone. I opened the door and found her standing there, holding a suitcase. And behind her stood the same man from the Barcelona photos. Aiden ran to the doorway, froze when he saw the stranger, and gripped my leg like a terrified toddler. Emily forced a smile. "This is Lucas," she said softly. "He came with me to help talk through things." "Talk through things?" I said. "With your son? Or with your husband?" Lucas stepped forward. "Hey man, I'm not here to cause trouble." I cut him off. "Then leave." Emily's shoulders tensed. "Please don't make a scene." "You brought a stranger to my home," I said. "You made the scene." Aiden whispered, "Daddy, who is he?" Emily turned toward him, guilt washing over her face. "Sweetheart, he's Mommy's friend." Aiden pulled back, confused and hurt. "I don't want him here." Lucas sighed. "Look, this is uncomfortable for everyone. Maybe I should wait in the car." I didn't respond. He walked back to the car, silently. When the door shut behind him, Emily burst into tears. "I don't know what I'm doing anymore," she whispered. "I messed everything up." I didn't argue. She had. But her tears didn't move me the way they once did. Aiden clung to me, not her. She noticed, and it broke her. We sat on the couch, the same couch where we once made plans, watched movies, fell asleep together. Now we sat like strangers with too much history. Emily looked around the house, slowly realizing how much she'd missed. Aiden's drawings on the fridge, the new bookshelf I'd assembled, the cereal bowl still in the sink for breakfast. Life had continued without her. "Do you hate me?" she finally asked. I didn't answer. "Do you want me back?" she whispered. That question punched the air out of me. Did I? Could I? Before I found the words, Aiden climbed onto my lap, burying his head into my chest. Emily broke again, tears streaming down her face. "He won't even look at me." "What did you expect?" I said quietly. "You left." She covered her face with her hands. "I thought I needed to find myself. I thought I deserved to be happy. And we didn't." I said sharply. Her silence said everything. After a long pause, she finally whispered, "I want to stay for a few days." "No," I said instantly. "You can visit. You cannot move back in. I'm his mother." "Be a mother, then," I snapped. "Show up. Stop disappearing." She wiped her tears, nodding slowly. "You're right." That was the first time she'd agreed with me in a long, long time. For the next week, she visited every day. Sometimes for an hour, sometimes for 3. She played board games with Aiden, cooked dinner with him, helped with homework. She tried, and I hated how part of me softened watching it. One night, after we put Aiden to bed, Emily stayed back. "I ended things with Lucas," she said quietly. I didn't ask. "I know," she said, "but you should know." I didn't respond. She took a long breath. "I want to fix things. Not just for Aiden, but for us." I stared at her. The woman who'd left me broken and sleepless, who had disappeared into someone else's arms, who had left me explaining abandonment to a child. And yet, she was still the woman I once loved more than anything. But trust wasn't a door she could walk back through just because she knocked. "I don't know," I finally said. "I don't know if I can forgive you." She nodded. "I'll earn it then." And for the first time, I saw sincerity instead of excuses in her eyes. Rebuilding didn't happen in a week or a month. It happened slowly, painfully, counseling sessions, custody meetings, conversations that reopened old wounds. Nights where we argued quietly behind closed doors while Aiden slept. But she changed, bit by bit. She apologized without defending herself. She showed up on time. She stopped running. She didn't ask for perfection. She committed to consistency. And for Aiden's sake, I allowed a small opening. One night, after a long counseling session, she said, "I know I don't deserve another chance, but you deserve peace. And I want to be part of rebuilding your peace, not destroying it again." That hit me deeper than I expected. Months passed, and although I never forgot what she did, the anger slowly stopped controlling me. One rainy afternoon, Emily and I were sitting quietly on the porch while Aiden played with toy cars on the floor inside. She looked at me with soft, steady eyes. "Can I come home?" she whispered. For a moment, everything went silent. The rain, the world, even the parts of me still hurting. Instead of answering, I asked something else. "Are you staying this time?" "For good," she said. "No more running. No more leaving. No more Barcelona." I stared at her, long enough for her eyes to glisten again. Then I said it. "Then come home." She cried. I cried. Even the rain sounded like it sighed in relief. It wasn't a perfect reunion, but it was a real one. People say marriages end when trust breaks. I think marriages continue only when both people choose to rebuild the ruins together, stone by stone. Emily had shattered us, but she returned not to escape. This time she returned to repair. And maybe that's what love truly is. Not avoiding mistakes, but facing them with courage. Our story didn't end because she left. It began again because she came back willing to fight. And I met her halfway, not because I forgot the past, but because she finally showed she wanted a future. If this emotional journey touched your heart, like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories. And share this one to remind someone that forgiveness is possible, healing is real, and second chances can rebuild families.